In section 12.1, we're going to look at functions that involve square roots, or square root functions. We're going to see what they look like and how to graph them. So a square root function is going to be one that's got the y on one side and then a square root on the other. And since there's a square root, you have to understand that what you input into the function is going to have to make what's under the radical positive. So we do have a discussion about domain and range in the square root function. In order to graph the square root function, we're just going to simply make a t-chart and plot some points. That's the way we're going to handle it here in Algebra 1. To figure out the domain, we're going to take what's underneath the radical and set that greater than or equal to 0. And then the range is just going to be what it is. So here's our first example. Y is equal to negative 2 times the square root of x. And we're asked to sketch the graph and identify the domain and the range. So the first thing we're going to do is just make our t-chart. And when we make our t-chart, we're going to start to plug in a few numbers. We will want to know that the domain is going to be positives only. Since it's just an x underneath the radical, we can't put a negative 2 in for x because we don't know how to handle that in Algebra 1 with the real numbers. So as I make my t-chart here and I start plotting some numbers, my inputs are going to be my x's, my outputs are going to be my y, my domain is my x values, my range is my y values. So when I plug in 0 for x, that's the furthest number to the left that I can put in. The square root of 0 is 0 times negative 2 is 0. So that's why our first point is 0, 0. Then we have plug in 1 for x. The square root of 1 is 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. So 1, negative 2 is part of our graph. I'm going to plug in, I would probably plug in the number 4, because 4 is a perfect square. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. That's going to give me a nice easy number to put in. So when I talk about what is the domain and what is the range, the domain, I'm only allowed to put in positive numbers, 0 and positive numbers in for the domain. So that's where to find my domain, I'm going to take the x and I'm going to say x must be greater than or equal to 0. X is going to be greater than or equal to 0. That's going to be my domain. And I'm going to find my range by looking at where is the range going here. And I can see that my range is starting, the range is the y values, so my range is starting at 0 and it's going down. And it looks to me like it's going to continue all the way down to negative infinity. So my domain is going to be x is greater than or equal to 0, and my range is going to be from 0 to negative infinity.